Hi, I'm nutritionist Swati Chandrashekhar and I'm representing a nutrition section for SRT. Here are some questions that I get from most of the runners before they start their run. Start the day early on the day of the run, at least 3 hours before your starting time. These 3 hours give you time to relax and plan your pre-workout carbohydrate load. Ideally and logistically simple options are banana, boiled potatoes, sweet potatoes sprinkled with little bit of rock salt. You can pair that with a small dry fruit laddu or the classic gur singdani ka laddu. First time marathoners get really very excited and sometimes go overboard in their nutrition planning. But we have a 5 point plan for first time marathoners. Just remember to stick to these 5 points and you will be able to run your first marathon really very well. Point number one is sleep. You have to give time to your sleep and that helps in your recovery. Point number two is your training. Go to a proper trainer and train for your marathon rather than doing something on your own. Point number three is consult a qualified nutritionist for a well planned diet. Point number four, visit your physician and make sure all your medical checkups are done. You may need to change your medication or add some supplementation wherever it is necessary. And point number five is mindfulness, where what mindfulness talks about is where you're considering all 4 points over and over again and keeping you on track. Though much attention is centered around what you should eat before a marathon or during a marathon, very little attention is given to what you actually eat after a marathon. Depending on your goal, whether it is weight gain, weight loss, short distance running, or long distance running, different foods will give you different benefits as far as recovery is concerned. To start off with, you could start including simple foods like beetroot, cooked sprouts, fruits like with orange or yellow red pulp with it, for example, a watermelon, muskmelon, papaya, oranges. They will help you in better recovery. You can also include milk products like milk, curd, buttermilk, protein shakes, both which are milk based as well as plant based, grilled chicken or paneer combined with grilled vegetables or steamed vegetables. Also, when it comes to including carbohydrates, choose non-wheat or gluten-free carbohydrates like rice and millets like jawar, bajra, ragi, etc. When you sweat, you just don't lose water but also electrolytes. The main electrolytes that we consider for a runner are sodium, potassium, magnesium, and chloride. Now, these electrolytes play a very important role in not only keeping us hydrated but also making sure that our muscles contract the right way, and so does the working of your brain. Now, for particularly long distance runners, there is no faster way to replenish your electrolytes than having a electrolyte infused drink. The benefit of infusing these electrolyte supplements in your water is that you get to replace your electrolytes with the water that you're already drinking. Water hydrates you while also replenishes your electrolyte and speeds up the process of rehydration. As for the availability in the food, these electrolytes are plentiful in most of the diet plans, which are well planned according to your requirements. When we talk about hydration for a runner, it's a little tricky because there is no set formula for a runner. It entirely depends on what kind of a runner you are and what the race day is going to be like. For example, you have to consider your weight, how much you sweat, that's your sweat rate, then how long will you take to finish the race, and also you have to consider the weather. It's as to how the weather condition on the day of the race are going to be. I usually recommend to consume about 400 to 500 ml water 2 hours prior to the race and about 200 ml 15 minutes before the race starts. Keep sipping water from your hydration pack or from your handheld bottles throughout the race rather than relying on the aid stations where most runners tend to stop and guzzle down more water than required. While running, it is ideal to consume about 400 to 800 ml water per hour. It is perfectly fine to switch to a vegetarian diet. All you need to do is take care of your take care and fulfill your protein requirement and nutrient requirement with the help of a well-designed diet plan from a qualified nutritionist. There are many vegetarian protein available in the market. You can choose the milk-based ones or the plant-based ones. As far as the plant-based ones, which turn out to be more economical, I rely solely on the good old sattu, which is available all across the country. Maintaining the right levels of blood glucose without causing a sudden drop or a sudden spike in a patient who wants to run a marathon is the biggest concern for anyone around them. So people living with diabetes who wish to take up any strenuous activity, especially an activity like a long distance running, should keep in mind the following points. You have to always keep checking your blood glucose levels on a glucometer daily, 5 days prior to your marathon. If the fasting blood glucose levels are less than 100 before running, you have to make sure that you have to take about 30 grams of carbohydrates with 1 hour before the run. You must carry glucose tablets or energy gels so they can boost their energy levels, and try to administer these gels every 7 to 9 kilometers. These runners have to be very careful about their hydration. Keep in mind that you are continuously hydrated and not taking breaks only at the hydration stations. It is a good idea for any diabetic to have a running companion, a companion who will be able to manage any kind of emergency like a drop in sugar levels immediately. Diabetic patients also have to take care that they need to carry a carbohydrate rich snack with them every time they run, not just on the final run, but also for their practice runs to avoid sudden drop in their glucose levels. Hyperglycemia means a very high level of glucose. It always occurs either during the run or after the run, which is a result of prolonged exercise. To manage this, you make sure that your post-run meal or your protein is taken within 20 minutes from the cool down. Now a little bit about energy gels. Gels offer concentrated source of energy while you are running, especially when the energy is lost drastically fast. These energy gels that are available in the market are basically maltodextrin based, which provide glucose directly into the bloodstream with an easy absorbable form of carbohydrate. Now, how many gels do you take per race is a question that is asked more frequently. It is always better to check and read the label of your energy gel. Ideally, the formula is that you require about 1 gram of carbohydrate per kg body weight per hour. Now, let's say, for example, you weigh 65 kgs, and so which means for every 1 hour during the run, you will require 65 grams of carbohydrate. Now, which means that you have to check with your gel label how much carbohydrate is provided by one serving. Now, while you are doing this, make sure that you are also considering the carbohydrates that you are taking through your energy drinks. So let's say, for example, you are taking 400 ml of an energy drink of an X brand, which is giving you about 40 grams of carbohydrates. That which means per hour now you require only 25 grams of carbohydrates that can be taken from the gel. So if you look at it, ideally, well, you can take about 1 to maximum 2 packets of gel every hour. I would recommend that you do not exceed this amount because it will in turn give you a hypoglycemic effect and make your stomach churn also at times. I also get questions about when to take the gel. So ideally the gels should be taken only during the exercise. They work immediately on raising your blood glucose levels. If you are not exercising and if you just take a gel, let's say maybe 2 hours before your workout, it will just go to the storage of glycogen, eventually leading to lower glucose levels and weakness. Thus, if you want to take energy gels, it has to be taken just 15 minutes before the race, which is really not necessary, but you start taking them 2 hours after you've started your run. The first 2 hours will be taken care by the workout carbohydrate load. Supplementing sodium through salt tablets is a bit tricky and it may vary from person to person. For me, it seems more like a tightrope walk. If you consume less, the run suffers. If there is overdose of salt, your stomach is bloated. So if you, in my experience, if you are going to run less than 3 hours, then in a very pleasant environment, you don't need any salt tablets. However, if the run is longer, then your electrolyte infused water and the sodium that is supplied through that may not be enough. That is the time when you can introduce a salt tablet. Now, whenever you want to try a salt tablet, you have to consider your sweat rate. So I would recommend that during your trial runs, check your sweat rate and then introduce a salt tablet and check your body's response to it as well. Most running trainings are not the same, and that's the reason the diet has to vary according to your training schedules. It is advisable that you do consider the training duration and intensity while you're planning your diet plan. Now, don't get hassled with the fact that you cannot be having a new diet every day. All we need to do is do simple tweaks in your daily plan and make it very simple to follow on a daily basis. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon with some more information on long distance running.